Now that we have drafted the curves and vectors for our back slats, we need to export our backslat files to Aspire to set up the toolpaths to cut these on our CNC router. So we're going to make sure this is all joined together. If it's not, hit the join key. And with it selected, we're going to go to our File menu and choose Export Selected. We're going to export this as an AutoCAD Drawing Exchange or .dxf file. I will name this Adirondack back slat vector, and I will save that file. I'll say OK to all of the options on the dialog box, and with that done, I'm going to open Aspire. I'm going to create a new file. It's going to be single-sided. For our width, we're going to put in 40 inches. For our height, we're going to put in the width of our boards, which is 9.5 inches. And for our thickness, we're going to put in a width of 1 7/8 of an inch, which is 1.875 inches. And we are going to zero from the surface, and our 0, 0 is going to be in the center. And I'll press OK. At this point, I'm going to go to my File menu. I'm going to import vectors, and I am going to find my Adirondack backslat vector file and open it. And just like with our side rails, you need to zoom out to find your vector. Click on it once and you can drag this over and put it on your file here. So with this on our file, we now want to make as many copies of this as we can. So with it selected, I'm going to drag this, and with the Control key held down, I'm going to drag it and drop it. And I will do that, and I'm leaving enough space that my bit can fit in here, in between the vectors. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't know if I can fit 6. If I move this down a little bit, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit 6. So we're going to go with 5 of these. And we'll have to cut 2 of these eventually. So I'm going to spread this out a little bit now that I know I can only fit 5. Just make sure that I have the maximum space in between each one. See how that does. So with my vectors now, I'm going to select all of these. I'm going to click on my toolpath arrow and come over here. And in this case, we are only doing profile toolpaths. So we're going to select profile toolpath. Our start depth is 0. Our cut depth is going to be 1.88 inches. We're going to use a 1/2 inch end mill with a spindle speed of 12,000. Our pass depth will be 0.2 inches and a feed rate of 3 inches per second and a plunge rate of 2 inches per second. And I'll press OK. With that done, I'm going to vector on the outside of this. I'm going to add tabs, 1/2 inch in length, and I'm going to go to a 1/4 inch in thickness. I'm going to edit tabs, and I'm going to add tabs. In this case, I want to move these tabs to places where they will be easy to sand off of my slats. So I'm going to try to put them right across from each other. This one here in this corner I can just drag over. And I will try to line these up so they line up right across from each other, and I can just go down the line here and add these slats. And these tabs will keep the slats attached to the rest of the board as we cut these. Move these ones over here. And again, we don't want them at the corners because we want them in a place where it's going to be easy to sand them. And once I've got all these tabs in place, I'm going to hit close. I'm going to add a ramp, and my distance is going to be 1 inch. And I'm going to call this back slat profile 0.5 inch end mill Mr. B. So put your name on there so I know it's your file. And then I'm going to calculate the file. This warning says that it's going to cut all the way through the board, which is good. That's what we want it to do. And then press OK. And now I'm going to preview my toolpath. And you will see that we've got these tabs here that are connecting our pieces to each other so that when we cut these out, they don't go flying off the table. So we are going to, with that, close this. We are going to save our toolpath. Click on Save Toolpath. We're going to choose the centroid toolpath. And we want to use centroid inch. And we're going to save our toolpath. So I will keep my same name, centroid inch, and I'm going to save that toolpath. Once I have that toolpath saved, I have one more thing I have to do. I am going to find my profile toolpath that I just made. I'm going to open that up in Notepad. Come down to where you see it says Tool Change, and come right below that where you see a T command right there. And in front of that T3, I'm going to put a semicolon and a space. And yours might say T1, T2, T3, T4. Whatever it says, you're going to put a semicolon and a space. Click File, resave that file. And now your toolpath is saved and ready to be put on a flash drive and taken to the CNC router to cut out your back slats.